Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, but something feels wrong. Your bed is gone, your phone is gone, your house is gone. You look around, and there are no roads, no buildings, no electricity, not even another modern human in sight, because somehow you've been dropped 50,000 years into the past. Welcome to the Stone Age. And your challenge is simple: survive for 24 hours. Sounds easy? Well, the clock has already started. Hour 1, water. Your first instinct might be to find food, but that's not your biggest problem. It's water. You can survive quite a while without eating, but without water, things can become dangerous much faster. Luckily, you hear something nearby. Running water. You follow the sound and discover a small river. Problem solved, right? Not exactly. There's no bottled water, no filter, no treatment plant. And drinking contaminated water could make you seriously sick. You look for clear, flowing water rather than a stagnant pool. You take a drink. You've survived your first problem. But while you're kneeling beside the river, you notice something in the mud, tracks, and they're much bigger than yours. You're not the only animal using this water source, so you leave. Quickly. Hour 3, you need a weapon. Right now, you're almost completely defenseless. No knife, no gun, not even a flashlight. Your greatest weapon is something ancient humans relied on constantly: your brain. You find a long, sturdy branch. Then you search for a sharp stone. After a lot of frustrating attempts, you manage to create a crude cutting edge. It's nowhere near as good as the tools ancient humans actually knew how to make. But eventually, you have something resembling a spear. Congratulations, you've entered the Stone Age. Unfortunately, having a spear doesn't suddenly make you the strongest animal around. A large predator is still faster than you, stronger than you, and much better at killing than you. Your weapon is mainly giving you one thing: a chance. Hour 5, food. Now you're hungry. This seems simple. There are plants everywhere. Surely something here is edible, but that's exactly the problem. You don't know which plants are safe. Ancient humans didn't randomly walk through forests eating everything they saw. Their knowledge was built across generations. Which berries were safe? Which roots could be eaten? Where animals gathered? When certain plants appeared? You have none of that knowledge. So that colorful berry you're staring at? Maybe it's lunch. Maybe it's your final meal. Hunting isn't much easier. You spot a small animal. You raise your spear. You approach slowly, and it's gone before you've even gotten close. That's when you realize something. Watching someone throw a spear in a movie is very different from actually feeding yourself with one. Ancient humans spent years developing these skills. You're trying to learn them before dinner. For now, you might have to stay hungry. And that's okay, because something much more urgent is happening. The sun is moving lower. Hour 9, find shelter. You've been so focused on food that you almost forgot about the night. And that's a huge mistake. The temperature will drop, visibility will disappear, and predators that were difficult to see during daylight will become even harder to detect. You need shelter, fast. Eventually, you find a rocky overhang. It looks perfect, dry, protected from the wind, and large enough to sleep inside. You start walking toward it, then stop, because there's one problem with finding a perfect shelter in the wilderness. Something else may have found it first. You stare into the darkness, you inspect the ground, no obvious animal, no fresh remains, no movement inside. You're probably safe, probably. You gather dry grass to insulate yourself from the cold ground. Then you collect branches, lots of branches, because the sun is almost gone, and your next challenge may decide whether you survive the night. You need fire, and this is where movies have lied to you. You can't just rub two random sticks together for 5 seconds and suddenly have a campfire. Making fire without modern tools requires the right materials, the right technique, and a lot of patience. You try. Nothing. Again, nothing. Your hands begin to hurt. You look toward the horizon. The sun is almost gone. You try again. Faster, harder. Then, a little smoke appears. You stop. There it is. A tiny ember. You carefully place it into dry grass. Then gently blow. Smoke rises. More smoke. And suddenly, flame. For the first time all day, you actually feel like you might survive this. Fire gives you warmth, light, a way to cook food. And perhaps most importantly, it may discourage some dangerous animals from getting too close. You sit beside the flames, exhausted, hungry, but alive. Then, the last bit of sunlight disappears, and the Stone Age becomes a completely different world. Hour 14, darkness. There are no streetlights, no houses glowing in the distance, no headlights, no phone flashlight in your pocket. When darkness arrives, it is dark. Beyond the small circle created by your fire, you can barely see anything. Then you hear something. Crack! A branch snaps somewhere behind you. You freeze. Another sound comes from the grass. You slowly reach for your spear, then you see them. 2 tiny reflections beyond the firelight. Eyes. Something is watching you. You don't know what animal they belong to, and honestly, you don't want to find out. You grab another branch and throw it onto the fire. The flames rise. For a moment, the surrounding wilderness becomes visible, but there's nothing there. The eyes are gone. And that's when you realize something important. Ancient humans weren't usually trying to survive this world completely alone. They had something you don't. Each other. Living in groups changed everything. People people could gather resources together, share knowledge, protect children, watch for predators, and defend themselves against threats that would overwhelm a single person. While one person rested, another could remain alert. But tonight, you don't have a tribe. You don't have 20 people protecting you. You have yourself, a primitive spear, and a small fire that you desperately don't want to go out. Hour 18, try to sleep. Hours pass, you're exhausted, your legs hurt, your hands hurt, you're hungry. Every part of your body is telling you sleep, but closing your eyes feels like the worst possible idea. Every sound suddenly seems dangerous. Leaves moving, branches breaking, animals calling somewhere in the distance. You lie beside the fire. Your spear stays right next to your hand. You stare into the darkness. Nothing. Eventually, your eyes begin to close. For the first time tonight, you fall asleep. Then, crack! Your eyes shoot open. You grab your spear. You look around. Nothing. Just darkness. You throw another piece of wood onto the fire, then lie back down. Minutes pass. Your eyes close again. This isn't the comfortable 8-hour sleep you're used to. You're resting, while still reacting to whatever is happening around you. Sleep, wake up, check the fire, listen. Sleep again, and slowly, hour after hour, and the night passes. Hour 23. Almost there eventually, you wake up again. But this time something feels different. The fire is almost dead. You're freezing, hungry, dirty. Your clothes are covered in dust. Your entire body hurts. But then, you hear something. Birds. You look toward the horizon. The darkness is beginning to fade. Black becomes blue. Blue slowly becomes orange. And then, after what feels like the longest night of your life, the sun appears. You made it. 24 hours in the Stone Age. You survived. But here's the crazy part. You only had to survive one day. Ancient humans lived in this world for their entire lives. And they weren't simply wandering around helplessly. They understood this environment far better than you ever could. They knew where to find water, which plants were safe, how to track animals, how to make sophisticated stone tools, how to control fire, how to build shelters, how to read changes in the weather, and most importantly, how to work together. That knowledge wasn't learned from a survival video. It was passed from person to person, parent to child, generation after generation. You entered their world carrying thousands of years of modern knowledge and probably struggled to survive one night. They survived it for generations, and eventually their descendants built the world you're living in today. So imagine it one last time. Tomorrow morning, you open your eyes. Your house is gone, your phone is gone, civilization is gone, and you're standing 50,000 years in the past. Could you really survive 24 hours? Or would the Stone Age defeat you before sunrise? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into humanity's past, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next mystery.